asked us to have another meeting in a couple of weeks as opposed to waiting until September. I mean, we've been, I think, really diligent listening to the community's input on our project. I don't want to do most of the talking, but I do want to explain the stuff that's on the wall, so later this evening, as you get an opportunity to walk around, you can understand the process that we've gone through. Early on in the project, before we even had a partner community, we were looking at 4 areas of the city, 4 large areas of the city. And we took vacant maps or empty maps to the community and asked the community members to start mapping assets, things that are in the neighborhood, churches, businesses, parks, other resources that the community had. And then we also asked the community members to put on those maps things that they didn't want to see in the neighborhood. So were there abandoned buildings, were there assets or things that were not being taken care of properly, where were the areas in the community that there were high concentrations of drugs and other types of crime, so that we could get an accurate mapping of those 4 areas of the community. So the map, the drawings that are over on this wall actually show our process from our very first workshop all the way through May of this year. This is almost a 2-year process. So when you're looking at these different color bars, there are different meetings that we've had with different organizations, different community groups, different political factions, so that we can get a clear understanding of the assets and the resources in the community and the assets and the resources that we need to bring into the community. This next big map, and it's not complete yet because it's an exhaustive map, Representative Maureen Stapleton, who's here in the audience, where is she? Can she stand up? Hi. Asked us at the last meeting if we could do an asset map for the community. And the asset map is basically who we've talked to in the community, who we've done research with on our door-to-door campaign, who's been attending the meetings. So if you come up to this map, this is basically I-94 on the north, and Verner on the south, St. Aubin on the west, and Mount Elliott on the east. Anything that's in color, blue, yellow, pink, red, those are all people that we've actually talked to, sat with, met with in the community. And right now there's about 800 different people that we've talked to in the community. Most of them are north of Gratiot. We really haven't started mapping a lot of the south of Gratiot stuff yet. But this map is, and it's got a little diagram below so you can see that we have been reaching out to the community. These next 2 maps are a compilation of comments from the different community meetings and the different comments that people put on the maps when we first came into the community about assets and resources and liabilities in the community. These next couple of sheets are actually an analysis based on community input and mapping that we did about the different issues in the community in terms of strengths and weaknesses, social characteristics, economic characteristics. And these are just helping us understand, the project as it develops. These sheets down here are from our 7th partner community meeting that we held here at St. Elizabeth's. And these are actually the sheets that we took off the table and we put them in printed text. So your comments are all on these sheets. And then these maps are just, this map is just an aerial photograph of the community. So other than it just being an aerial photograph of the community, there's nothing else significant about it. And then this map, all of the green spots are land that the city, the state, or the county owns. So they're not in private hands. It's publicly owned property. So that's basically what these maps are, just so everybody knows. And at this point, I'm going to call up Guy Williams, who we've asked to kind of coordinate the meeting. Again, this is a community meeting, so we want you to do the talking. But rather than I doing it, I'm going to ask Guy Williams if he would do it. So Guy.
Thank you, Gary. Hi, everybody. My name's Guy, and I'm trying to get where everyone can see me. I'm not behind a pole, so I'll have to move a little bit. But there's a few reasons Gary asked me to come tonight. One is I'm a native of the East Coast, but I've been living and working in the Detroit area since mid-90s. And what's driven me in my work is my personal passion for working on environmental issues and health issues related to protecting people and eliminating suffering. And I've been blessed to have a history of work professionally around environment and sustainability. In the last several years, I've started a consulting practice, and I try to find projects that I can align with and support them in making good community engagement, smart decisions around the environmental impacts, and so forth. So Gary and I have been talking about this project for many years, or several months, since I guess 2009. But I've never tried to be formally involved really till tonight. And partly it's because I came to a meeting a couple of months ago, and there was a lot of discord in the meeting, where people who live in this area were complaining about the process. And I called Gary the next day, and I said, Gary, man, I think your project, from what I can tell, is a positive one, but there's a lot of people who really aren't resonating with it, and I think you need to take a different approach. So hopefully tonight would be a step in that direction. You know, my understanding is that there was a meeting that community residents asked to have tonight. I don't know if there's anyone officially from the neighborhood who's planning to be an MC or something like that. If so, please come up. If not, I'm happy to kind of keep the ball rolling. But I think most folks here, you may know about the SHARE organization and what they're trying to do. There's a piece of their mission that also has personal connection for me. You know, I'm a person who would have qualified for their program about 20 years ago. And through the grace of God, you know, I don't need that kind of support a day at a time right now. But that's what first attracted me to the idea that there's work and opportunity in the city to take the assets that we have in the form of land and people and really start applying them in a new way. And I think you can't have a project of this scale without a lot of problems to be overcome and reconciled. And I believe that the leadership of the project is very sincere in hearing the issues and setting up dialogue to address the issues one by one. What I heard just a few minutes ago is that a lot of folks are interested in having more residential density restored to the neighborhood. Anyone else out there that feels the same way, that that's important? And I think, you know, it's kind of obvious that the way the neighborhood shifted over the last 10, 20 years is not what people would have hoped. Please.
I went to one of the meetings that Dave Bean. I went to one of the meetings that Dave Bean gave. I think it was at the Serbian Hall, back in Undergrad. And there they said that in the community they would be putting homes into the community here, which I do see happening in certain areas, Shane Verna area, going back Gratiot and that area there. But my question is, the ones that they're not taking, he said those people could keep their homes. Does that still hold true? Because I had heard people had concerns about possibly losing their homes and no more respect as far as you being there, and the city would no longer service that area. Do you know anything about that?
Well, everyone heard the question. I can't say I know directly what the mayor has in mind, but I think part of the issue tonight is that the SHARE RecoveryPark program is trying to create an agreement with the city, a legal agreement that would cover most of this territory, and particularly the land that's owned by the city government or the state government. So I think, Gary, I'm going to ask you to speak to it a little bit. Like, it seems to me, though, that the scale of this is going to be something that rolls out progressively and not really quickly, and so there's a lot of room for adjustment as it goes.
I can answer the question because, one, we don't want anybody to leave the community. Okay, the people are the community. It's not the buildings and it's not the land. And when you look at the neighborhood, it's our goal over the first couple of years to really just start to stabilize the neighborhood. So to start looking at the vacant properties that are owned by the city, the state, or the county, and doing demolition, deconstruction, starting to take care of the vacant lots so they're mowed on a regular basis. Start taking care of any street repairs that need to happen. and over a 1.5 to 2 year period of time.